Great.
Okay.
Okay, great. So we'll get started in a few more minutes. We're supposed to start at 11. So we're still waiting to, I just got off the phone with Michelle and she's having some problems logging in. So hopefully she'll be able to log in within the next few minutes.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, it looks like you got all of your stuff set up and ready to go, which is a blessing. Okay, and as people log on, there goes Michelle. There's my bestie.
Hi, Michelle.
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Michelle.
Let me see, Michelle, I'm getting ready to make you a presenter also. Okay, let me see, make presenter. Okay, Michelle, you should have got some type of notification just showing that you're also a presenter. Let me make sure Will is still a presenter.
And Michelle, you might want to turn on your microphone.
You know what? It took away Will's presenter, so let me make him a presenter again. So I guess I can only make one person a presenter. So Will, I just made you a presenter again.
Okay, it looks like I've got it back.
Okay, I'm sorry. So Michelle, I can only do one presenter at a time. I apologize.
So why don't you go ahead and take it back then, Phyllis, and when I get ready to do the presentation, I'll take it back from you.
Oh no, I'm an organizer.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I'm good. Yeah. So I think you can only have one presenter and one organizer at a time.
Okay.
So.
All right, Phyllis, again, hello, everybody. Are we ready for Will to start, Phyllis, or is there something else we need to do first?
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes. It's 10:58. So let's start right at 11 o'clock. Let some more people come in.
All right.
Okay, so we got a couple of more minutes. Let's see. Got quite a few people.
Phyllis, why did you elect to go with GoToMeeting versus one of the other platforms?
Well, I was using Zoom at first, and I was doing a lot of online notarizations. And it wasn't, I was running into a problem with converting the videos after they recorded. And so I'm like, I can't afford to have this problem. So I switched to GoToMeeting. And it was in the beginning of the pandemic, so Zoom could have been overwhelmed with everybody using their platform and had some glitches and stuff. But I couldn't afford to be in that situation with Zoom. I needed my videos to be ready to go because I was doing a lot of work for attorneys who wanted access to those recordings. So I just switched to GoToMeeting. I haven't had any problems with GoToMeeting. So, and hopefully Zoom has fixed whatever glitches they had going on. Then the Zoom had some security issues at one time too.
Yeah, they did for a while, but that got all fixed. It's been runs much smoother now.
Yeah. So anyway, I just stick with GoToMeeting.
Miss Phyllis, do we have access to these recordings? Do we have? Oh, okay.
Patrons do.
Okay.
Patrons have access to all the recordings.
Okay.
And if you stay on afterwards, I'll show you how to access them in the patron community.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, everybody, welcome to Notary Gal's first webinar Saturday. This is the brainchild of my bestie, Michelle Riley. I'm gonna let her Michelle, you're muted.
No, it is your brainchild, young lady. But Phyllis has been encouraging me to do more of these for years, literally years. And I kept coming up with reasons why I couldn't. And then finally, I yielded to her prodding. So there. But I'm happy I'm here.
Anyway, we have Michelle and I have known each other for years. We have a lot of fun together during our notary journey. We both are notaries. Michelle is in Alabama. I'm here in Texas. And I mean, to me, this is just one of the best businesses that you can have. You know, it's so flexible and you can do so much with it. And so we came up with Notary Gals, where we're going to be doing training for, on Saturday mornings, once a month. And we're just going to be doing notary talk. And we're also on Clubhouse, and that is Michelle's brainchild, the Clubhouse club that we have. So we encourage you guys, if you have an iPhone, to join us on Sundays at 3:00 in the Notary Lounge. And we do a lot of good training, and that's every Sunday in Clubhouse in the Notary Lounge. So this is, like I said, this is our first webinar Saturday, and I'm going to turn it over to Michelle so she can introduce our, probably share some more information about herself, and then introduce our guest speaker. Oh, sorry, y'all.
That's all right. It happens. And let me silence my other phone. I'm really glad to be here. Welcome. I know some of you from Phyllis's Notary Day event in Texas in 2019. And then I am one of her patrons. I really think she developed an awesome platform. And so I've met some of you there, and a few of you have reached out to me for some other needs. I am in North Alabama. I've been a notary since 2005, and then in 2006 is when I started my mobile notary business and became a signing agent. On Facebook, I do run Notaries for Alabama Hangout. So if you have family members or friends in Alabama who are interested in this line of work, send them my way. Phyllis mentioned Clubhouse. I have 2 extra invites for Clubhouse. So if you have an iPad or an iPhone and you've been itching to get on Clubhouse, right now there is a wait list to be added. So if you download the app and ask to join, you will probably get a message that says you got to wait. To get to the front of the line, you need an invite. So I am willing to share 2 of my invites today. You just need to, I'll let you know at the end how to best reach me for that. But I'm really excited about spending Saturday mornings with all of you. And it's about notary best practice and introducing new information to you. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, presenter, colleague, fellow notary colleague. His name is Will Ussery. Will is from Northern California, and he is working there in Northern California. He's been a notary for just under 2 years. Prior to becoming a commissioned notary, Will was an IT project manager for over 20 years in the healthcare industry. He retired about 4 years ago, and while he was retired, thinking about what his next career would be, he found himself watching videos on YouTube, and he came across one of those videos that many of us have seen ourselves about becoming a notary. He spent time on his Secretary of State's website. That was a great move, something we encourage all new notaries to do. He got some information and decided to pull the trigger to become a notary. One of the goals, I'm going to quote him, one of the goals I set for myself was to provide all customers that I come into contact with that they have an exceptional experience and won't hesitate to offer my will services without his prompting. And that's how he came up with Exceptional Notary. You will find on Facebook a group called Exceptional Notary Group. And we encourage you to join that group because Will takes, I think, and Phyllis believe, a unique approach to our line of work. His focus with his IT background are on the tools, shortcuts, ways to work smarter. And those are many of the tips that he shares in his group. And right now that group has over 1,800 members. So if 1,800 notaries are finding value from that group, we're sure you will too. So without further ado, Will be speaking with us this morning about 5 must-have applications for notaries. And if you would now, let's give Will the mic so that he can take it away.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Michelle. I don't think I could have done any better than what you just did there, trying to introduce myself. Just a little bit further background. The reason why I started the Facebook group is that I was looking for some tricks of the trade, if you will, on how to, be a little bit more, I guess, fluent in some of the technical aspects of how you get up to speed in running your business. And after looking around the internet and some of the Facebook groups, I didn't find that information. And I said, well, I've got a technical background. Why don't I try to start writing a few tips of the trade, if you will? And people started joining the group and passing the word around that there's some information here that might be useful to other notaries. So that's I guess the impetus of how I started the group, and it's been a blessing for me to just be able to offer information for other notaries that they can share with others and hopefully improve their business along the way. So with that said, I'd like to get into the presentation, and I'm not sure whether or not Phyllis or Michelle would allow questions, but I'm open to questions during the presentation. I've got a PowerPoint presentation that I'll have available at the end of this meeting for you to download. I'll have a link for you to be able to get that information at a later time. So without further ado, why don't we get started here?
Hey, Will, allow me to just jump in for a quick second. Do you want to keep it the view that it is? Is there a way to click on present so that we don't see the heading? I mean, it's not critical. I can view it, but I was wondering if there was a way to enlarge it.
Yes, I'm going to go into presentation mode here in just a moment.
All right, sorry about that.
Is that better?
Perfect.
Yes, okay, sir.
All righty. So before I get into the 5 applications, I wanted to start off with what I consider to be the most important thing when you're running a business and you're making money, is how do you become functional after you have a major impact to your business, whether it be a natural disaster or a hardware failure. How do you keep your business going during that downtime? So I've done some research on what you should try to do when you're trying to get your business up and running after it's been down for a period of time. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is basically have a disaster recovery plan. Some of the basics that you should have when you're starting your business off, you should have at a minimum antivirus software on your system. And you should also have what's called two-factor authentication. That is, when you visit a website, you want to make sure that in order for you to gain access to that website, a hacker will need to have not only your credentials to log in, but they'll need your phone also. And if they don't have your phone, they will not be able to hack your account. So I definitely would implore people to look into enabling two-factor authentication on any sites that you visit. So that's something that I definitely would like to emphasize as we go through this presentation. Disaster recovery should have what's called a 3-2-1 plan. It should be, you should keep at least 3 copies of data. You should have 2 copies stored locally, and 1 copy should be off-site or in the cloud. And for me, I use a backup strategy. I use Macrium Reflect, which they do have a free version of the program. So you can try it out for 30 days and see whether it's something you like. And I've tried out several programs for offsite, and I've settled on a program called iDrive, and it gives you 5 terabytes of storage. So for the on-site, I basically do a complete backup of my hard drive once a week. And after the complete backup is done, every day I do what's called an incremental backup. So any changes from the last complete backup are copied to that differential backup. Offsite, I try to do the same backup strategy. I do a complete backup once a week, and then I do incremental or differential backups on a daily basis. And you can see the prices that I have on the screen here for what that will cost you. $69.70 for Macrium Reflect, and for 5 terabytes of storage in the cloud, it's $52 for 1 year of storage. One important thing to consider when you're doing your backups to the cloud, you must encrypt your data before it's uploaded to the cloud for obvious security reasons. You don't want anything that's in the clear uploaded to the cloud, because obviously hackers can gain access to that data, and we're dealing with very sensitive information. Any questions before I move forward on that one?
I do have a question, Will.
Yes.
How do we encrypt our data?
That is provided by the cloud provider. They allow you to create what's called a private key. So you create a passphrase or a password, and that password or passphrase is used once to encrypt your data. So you only need to input that passphrase once. And every time you upload data to your account, it's encrypted.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before I leave this slide here? All right, so on this slide, I'm just pointing out that Macrium Reflect is easy to back up and restore. It comes with software to restore your system if a hacker or requires ransomware. It does disk imaging and cloning. It offers differential and incremental backups. And the price is $70 for the year. And I've created a couple of links here that you can click on the links for the 30-day trial or the 1-year trial. And then I get into OneDrive. It has offsite cloud-based storage with private key encryption. It has Windows and Mac desktop versions. It's fully functional with a 5 gigabyte trial version. It allows you to clone or file level backups, and also doing incremental backups. So once you do that first large backup to the cloud, and I just want to state that most internet service providers do not give you a very fast upload speed. They concentrate on giving you a fast download speed. But when you're uploading your data to the cloud, then you're at the mercy of the upload speed of your internet service provider. I use Comcast, and I only have about 10 megabits per second upload, and it took me about 5 to 6 days to do my backup to the cloud. And that's basically doing it during the evening when I got done, doing it overnight, shutting my laptop down while I'm doing other things, and then I would resume things the following evening. So it picks up where you left off. So you don't have to do this continuously for 5 to 6 days, but I want to keep that in mind, that that's one of the drawbacks of uploading your data to the cloud. iDrive does offer a version where they will send you a backup disk where you can copy everything to that backup disk and ship it to them via FedEx. And they will then copy that data off of the backup disk and upload it to your storage in the cloud. That's another option that they provide. So if you don't want to wait for 5 to 6 days for all that data to upload, that's another option. And on this slide, I have a URL link at the bottom where you can click on the link to go to iDrive.com. Second choice was Acronis, and they're a little bit cheaper than iDrive, but I didn't like the setup as much as iDrive. So there I give you about 3 different options here to use. Acronis was my second choice, but I did settle on iDrive. But as you're doing your due diligence, as you're looking for your cloud-based storage provider, I would take a look at Acronis and see if that's something that you would like to settle on. It has the same functional components as iDrive, but I thought the setup was a little bit easier to do on iDrive. And my third choice was Backblaze, and it's a little bit more expensive. I thought it was the easiest to set up, but they don't offer all the options that I think iDrive has to offer. But I wanted to give the audience here at least 3 options to take a look at. So Backblaze would be another one of the options for you to consider. Any questions before we leave these slides here? All righty. The next thing I wanted to get into was what you really came here for, and that is, what are the 5 best apps that you can use as a Notary Public? And as we're all trying to do is save money, Adobe Pro is a fairly expensive program. And I wanted to see if there were other options available. And Foxit Phantom PDF is the tool that I use instead of Adobe Pro. It's got all the bells and whistles that Adobe Pro has, and it's about not quite half the price, but on a yearly subscription, it's fairly close to half the price of Adobe Pro. So I think that's something that you should consider. It has all the capabilities that you would want in a PDF platform. It allows you to edit your pages. So it's a full-blown editor, just like Adobe Pro is. So it allows you to create digital signatures. You can edit your PDFs. You can fill in blank fields. You can add text boxes. You can scan documents. And obviously, if you're on your phone, you have cloud access to your documents via your phone. And when we get later in the slide, I'll show you a screenshot of Foxit PDF that I have on my laptop here. The most important thing is when you go into the print option, you want to compare what Foxit Phantom PDF has versus Adobe Pro. And I'll give you a look at that as we go forward. The next thing I talked about earlier was 2-factor authentication, and this is so critical, and I'm not sure if a lot of people are taking advantage of this. This is one of the most important things you can do as an individual to protect your online accounts. I'm sure you hear probably once every other month, somebody is getting hacked because their password wasn't strong enough, or the hacker bought several passwords off of some black website and was able to gain access to your site. If you had 2-factor authentication turned on, to whatever your account is, whether it be Facebook, your email account, Twitter. They would need access to your phone in order to gain access to your account. So if you have two-factor authentication turned on, they would not be able to gain access to any of your accounts. The tool I use most frequently is Google Authenticator. There's another tool available that's called Authy, and there's also Microsoft Authenticator. Any of these tools will work on either the iPhone or the Android phone. So you just need to go to your Play Store and see what options are available on the websites that you visit most often, and then determine whether or not you can turn on two-factor authentication for those sites. Any questions?
Well,
Yes.
I have a question. So for the two-factor authentication, we should be using that on our cell phones or on our computers?
You would use it, you can use it on both, but you would set it up primarily on your cell phone. So if you go to Facebook right now and you go into the security options, they will allow you to turn on two-factor authentication. You'll be able to find that pretty much on any website that you visit where you have an account. They will allow you, if they have it enabled, two-factor authentication, and you will need your phone most of the time to turn on two-factor authentication, because they'll want you to put your phone up to the screen, and there'll be a QR code on the screen that your phone will capture, and then your phone will sync to that account. And each QR code will be different on every site that you would visit or that you have an account with.
So then so the two-factor authentication prevents somebody from hacking into our accounts. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it will make it doubly difficult because they won't have your phone. That's the most important thing. They may have access to your user ID and your password, but they won't have your phone.
Okay.
And so once you put in your user ID and your password, there'll be another prompt from whatever site you're visiting to enter your two-factor authentication code, and that code recycles every 30 seconds. So if you go to Google Authenticator, you'll see a code that's basically counting down every 30 seconds. So the next time you log in, you'll have a different code that you'll have to put in.
You know, Will, this reminds me of the times my family members on Facebook will say, if you get an invite from me, don't accept it. I've been hacked. So, and this is happening more and more. And I used to not want to be bothered with two-factor authentication. Yeah, I viewed it as a hassle, but 2021, I really think it's not a choice.
Yeah.
We leave ourselves wide open or put up another layer of security. I really appreciate this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very important in these days, and especially as we're running a business. If you're hacked, that means your business is going to be down for a little bit of time, and then you're going to need to go to your business continuity plan and put that in action. So it all goes together. All right. The next option I have is how do you track your miles? And I use Mile IQ, and there are other tools out there, but this is a product that's put out there by Microsoft. And the only thing that I need to do is when I get in my car, I don't need to do anything but have my phone with me. I don't have to turn anything on or off. It will basically detect when the car starts moving. And it will have a start and finish for each leg of your drive. And at the end of each leg, you can classify it as a personal or business activity. And you will get weekly and monthly reports. And you can either upload that information to whatever software you're using to input your mileage on a monthly or weekly or monthly basis. So Mile IQ is something that I don't think I want to be without. They do have an option that's free, but it's only 40 trips a month, and for most people that's not going to work. So for, $60, I think for the entire year, I think it's something well spent that you will obviously write off at the end of the year as a business expense. So I would definitely consider Mile IQ as something to ease the pain of tracking your mileage on a daily and weekly basis. Any questions on this before I leave? Another tool that I found useful to save money is Gas Buddy. And I just love the name because it definitely is your buddy. What they allow you to do is deduct 5 cents off of each fill up that you have at a gas station. The first fill up that you have is 15 cents off. So they'll give you a card, which needs to be linked to your ATM account. And I know some people are raising their eyes about that, but this company has found themselves to be reputable. They have no issues of being hacked or having any problems with people getting erroneous things charged to their debit cards. But one of the benefits of this is that when you do fill up your car or whatever amount that you put in your car, you're not actually billed. It doesn't show up on your ATM card until the following day. So if you don't have any cash in your account, which may happen to some people, they may be, a little tight at the end of the month or whatever it is, you can use your Gas Buddy card and it will not show on your debit card until the next day, 24 hours later. So you will get a card and it needs to be synced up to whatever account you want it to be synced up to. And some of the benefits of it is that you start adding points as you use the card. And some of those points can be used to buy things at your local tire company, or you may be able to buy things at your local Walmart. So it has some benefits if you use it a lot. And one of the things that you can earn points at is that when you pull up to your favorite gas station, you can enter whatever the current prices are. So if it's the cheapest price, the mid-level, and the most expensive, if you enter those prices into the app, you will get points for doing that. And obviously, the more people that do that, the more accurate the prices are as you're using the Gas Buddy app. And I found that the prices, as you're driving around your local city, you just click on the Gas Buddy app and say, find me the closest location, and it'll show you a list of all the gas prices in your location or your immediate area. And you can determine whether or not you want to take the drive to something that may be 20 cents less, or you could just take something down the road that's a little bit higher in price. So I found this app to be very beneficial. I've been using it about the last 6 months, and it's been a very beneficial app to use. Any questions on Gas Buddy?
No, I didn't know you could hook it up to your debit card. I don't know if I would do that, but that's just interesting to know that they have it.
Yeah, I was a little bit averse to doing it too. I did some research on it. I wanted to look at the Better Business Bureau and say, are these people reputable? And yeah, I haven't had any problems over the last 6 months. And they've been around for several years.
Hello, Will.
Yes.
This is Richard Law in Florida. Gas here is $2.49 a gallon. What's the price in Northern California?
We're up in the $3 ranges here in California. Yeah, we're around $3.40, around in that area right now.
Wow, that's pretty expensive. That seems more expensive than it was before the pandemic even started. And the other question I have is, your audio is very good. What type of microphone do you use?
I have a Samson Go mic. It's a USB. It's a USB type of mic, and it's called Samson, SAMSON.
Okay, that sounds really good. I'm using a Yeti, which is probably comparable. And how does my audio sound?
You sound just marvelous.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
No problems with your audio either. All righty. The next two apps that I find useful are UPS Online and FedEx Mobile Online. I use this when I'm traveling outside my area to find the closest drop-off locations. You can obviously track your packages. It shows the deadlines for when's the last pickup at any individual site. And they do have what's called a virtual assistant. If you have any questions that are commonly asked, they have a virtual assistant that can help you with any questions. So having UPS and FedEx Mobile on your phone, you will find it very useful as you're trying to find the closest location if you're outside of your immediate area that you're used to. Anybody using these two apps?
I use them.
Yeah.
Been using them for years.
Okay.
I use them. I just need to download it on my phone.
Yeah. I mean, they are very, very handy when you're out there doing closings and you got to drop those documents by so they can get back to the title company for the next day, and you need to know where a UPS man facility or FedEx man facility is near you so you can get that receipt. So these are great apps to have.
Absolutely. All right, well, I wanted to leave some time at the end for questions, so I do have a couple of slides at the end that I wanted to show you, but this is the wrap up, and I wanted to let you know that the presentation will be available at this link that's on your screen here. I would like to offer any people that are on the call today to visit my group, which is called Exceptional Notary Group. I also have a spreadsheet that I have available for individuals who have not gone with Notary Assist or Notary Gadget. It's a way of tracking your income and expenses and also your mileage. I also have a tab which allows you to track your invoices. And what I'm going to do is just bring this up quickly on the screen here. I've got on here what's called an instructions tab, where it goes through everything you need to do in order to use this spreadsheet. I've got an invoices tab, which allows you to keep track of vendors and the contact information, the customer name, the amount of the invoice, and whether it has been paid or not paid. And you can filter this based on whether or not you have, as you can see, it just filtered this spreadsheet to only show me invoices that have not been paid. And if I go back here and click on all, it shows me everything that has been paid or not paid. So this is one of the tabs that I have, and it has multiple rows on here that you can use in order to input your data. And then I have on the January through December tab, so you can enter any of your expenses, your income. I've obviously entered some bogus data here. Some of the columns I have, let me zoom this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. I have airfare, auto fees, banking fees, broadband fees, etc. And then if there's a category that you don't see, I have what's called unassigned, and you can change the unassigned to a category of your choice. So as you can see at the bottom here, I have $10 for each expense, which would probably be different, and it totals up to $330 for monthly total. At the bottom of here, I have business mileage, and I would take whatever I have from my Mile IQ app and plug that in here. And this is not a number that's calculated in the 330 number. This is only for mileage purposes. And if I scroll, scroll over here to the right, that dollar amount for the business miles is calculated over here at the mileage rate that the IRS is offering this year. And then in this column, I wanted you to put down whatever your income was for general notary work, notarial income, and taxable income. The taxable income is a calculated field. So if you have gross income of $30 from a self-employment tax perspective, none of that $30 is considered to be taxable from a self-employment tax perspective. So this column over here shows 0. But if you do a loan signing that has multiple signings in it, in California, we can charge $15 per signature. I would multiply the number of signatures times $15, and that would be my notarial income for that particular signing. The difference between the gross income and the notarial income would be the taxable income for a self-employment purpose. And when I say self-employment, the IRS requires individuals to pay quarterly whatever your self-employment taxes are. So you want to get some visibility of what those dollars are going to be on a monthly and quarterly basis. And I've got it set up where I pay the IRS weekly. I have it set up where I can just go in and shoot them whatever amount of dollars it is, and I don't have to worry about paying them on a quarterly basis. And that's done because my spreadsheet will track that information. And as I come down here in the bottom section, the way that is calculated, I have state taxes owed. In California, we do pay state taxes, and obviously there's the federal taxes. So on this $330 of taxable income, I take 10% of that income and will set aside 10% of that for state, and for the federal, I set aside 20%. So that's at $66 here. So total taxes owed for the month of January was $99. And this is just an example of how the spreadsheet will calculate those numbers for you. So that's January. It has the same effect on December, but my year-to-date snapshot will show you your notarial income for the year, your total income for the year, any expenses that have been paid, taxes due, taxes paid. Sounds like we have an echo here.
I want to make sure that if you are not speaking, please turn your mic off. Okay, if you're not speaking, please make sure your mics are turned off.
It's Serena, I believe.
Serena?
Yeah, something happened with my phone.
Okay, I need you to turn your mic off.
It's off. I had switched to my laptop. I'm turning this one off. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so just continuing, notice it has taxes due, taxes paid, and then taxes unpaid. So this gives you a snapshot that you could give at the end of the year to your tax professional, and it would roll up all the dollar amounts that you have over here to the right. So it has all the categories that we've used on the January through December tabs, and it will bring all those dollars forward. And you would only need to give your year-to-date summary printout to your tax professional, and they would be able to do your taxes.
Yeah,
so
your tax professional would love you if you use this, you know?
I'm offering this for $21. That's for members of the Exceptional Notary Group. If you're not a member of the group, I think I'm offering it for something like $33. So there are some benefits of being a member of the group. I'll provide a link for the spreadsheet. So without further ado, I'm going to move to the last thing I wanted to show you was.
Hey, Will, can you pause for a moment, please? And
sure.
So for those who may have hopped on later, Will has a Facebook group called Exceptional Notary. And well, I believe that's what you mean as far as being a member of the group to get the lower price. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thanks for clarifying that. That is correct.
And before you go into this, are there any questions about what's been covered so far? I'm looking at our time. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. So would you suggest if you have more than one business, combining them but have separate tabs, or using a separate spreadsheet, and will that be a double fee?
No, I wouldn't charge you doubly for that. I would give you whatever password I have, but I would recommend that you separate out your businesses.
Right, okay, exactly. That was my right. Yes, sir. Okay.
So I have a question. Thank you so much. This has been really helpful. It also kind of shows me I'm in the right area, so I appreciate that. I just wanted to ask you, what antivirus software would you recommend?
I currently use AVAST, A-V-A-S-T. And when I give you the link to this presentation, there'll be a link to that particular antivirus software. They have a trial version, and then you can pay for the paid premium version also.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? The last thing I wanted to show you was this is Foxit Phantom PDF. This is the replacement that I use for Adobe Pro. And most people would like to see what the print dialog box looks like compared to Adobe. So here's my printer here. Obviously you have copies, and this is a test document that has letter and legal size paper in it. It has 10 pages. Obviously you will have 100 to 150 pages. But the most important thing, it has choose paper size, paper source by PDF page size. This is what you want to have selected to print mixed paper sizes to a dual tray printer. It obviously allows you to fit to printer margins if you're having an issue with things spilling off the side of the page. This option can be used, and you can see it update in real time. So this is the print interface of Foxit Phantom PDF, and it does pretty much everything that Adobe does. And here's the pages up here. It has edit. You can edit text, organize page, rotate pages, duplicate, reverse, watermarks. And here's a comment. I like to use the typewriter function where, you know, it allows you to just click in here and just type in whatever you want to on a page. So if you have, you know, something that you want to fill in, it will allow you to do that. And then you can, you know, just move the box around wherever you'd like it to go. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today, and I'll leave it to Michelle and Phyllis for any questions and questions that you have.
Thank you, Will. I do see a question here. Go ahead, sir.
Dennis, you got a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Dennis in the Houston metro area. Because of trust issues, I went out and got me a 5 terabyte external hard drive. And that's where I put all my data or back up my data and not on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
As versus the cloud. What are your thoughts about the cloud versus a 5 terabyte hard drive?
Yeah, I don't think it's a versus, Dennis. I think you need both. And that's part of that 3-legged stool I wanted to talk about. I have a 2 terabyte external drive where I do all of my backups. So that's my on-site storage. But in the event that you have something happen in your house or something stolen, you need to have another backup to your backup. And that's what cloud will provide you.
Understood.
So I recommend that you do both.
Understood. And clearly understood. Yes. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else with questions? I wear several hats. One of my hats is licensed PI here in Alabama, and cyber attacks, cybersecurity. This is a real present danger to us as individuals, but especially business owners. Most criminals are smart folks. They're not, some are dumb, most are pretty smart. And they will know just by our title, by our website, they will get an idea of the type of information that we handle. And so it took me a while to get to this place, folks. I've heard about what Will is talking about years ago. And I was like, yeah, they're not going to bother little old me in Northern Alabama. Not true. And so it is imperative that we protect not only our own information, our family's information, but our clients' information. Title companies, signing services are watching us. So if we do have an event, a breach of security, they're looking to see how we recover and if we recover quickly. And if we do, they're more apt to continue to send us business. This was great information, Will. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And I just wanted to point out the whole business continuity plan. I created a blog, which is on my Facebook group. So anybody who is a member of my Facebook group will have access to the blog that you see on the screen right now. And it goes into a little bit more detail that we talked about today. So I just wanted to make you aware of this one also.
One more question, if I may, Dennis in Metro Houston.
Yes.
Is there anything that you can help with in terms of alleviating my distrust of the cloud? And or can that be addressed in your Facebook page better than here?
Well, I can tell you that you want to get somewhat comfortable with encryption. So anything that's of a sensitive nature, you want to make sure it's encrypted on your hard drive or your external hard drive before it goes to the cloud. That's one of the things that you want to make sure occurs. Yes, you should be concerned about the cloud because there are cases where things are being hacked. But if somebody hacks encrypted data, there's nothing they can do with it. They need your private key in order to, decipher anything that's in there. So it may be a headache for you to reproduce everything, but unless they have your private key, there's nothing they can do with the data.
Copy that. So I'll see you in exceptional.
We'll see you there.
Well, I do have a question, and I'm sorry I was going back and forth. I had some phone calls coming in, so I don't know if I missed or if you were able to cover anything about the VPNs.
Well, you bring that up. I didn't know if we had enough time, but yes, I do have a slide. Let me just from current. It's called WeVPN, and this is the VPN that I use. So VPN is a virtual private network. And what it does is it encrypts any data between your system and the destination that you're going to. And you can have your VPN running all day. And that means that any data that's going into or out of your computer is encrypted via the VPN. So I recommend WeVPN as an option here. It goes for, I think I got the cheapest option. They have an option for $7.95 a month, but I got something even cheaper than that. So I would visit the website for WeVPN and see what the current pricing is. One of the benefits also is that there's sometimes when you want to surf the internet and you want to do things anonymously, or there's something of a sensitive nature that you don't want to have captured by Google. What a VPN will allow you to do is called location spoofing. That is, the IP address that you have on your computer can be anywhere in the world. And a VPN will allow you to do that because it will change the IP address that you're using to go to the outside. So even though you may be like myself in Fairfield, California, I could be in Scandinavia as far as Google is concerned. So they will track the data of the IP address that are coming into their server, and they will try to assign a physical location to every IP address. If you use a VPN, they cannot do that. So if there's anything of a sensitive nature that you'd like to research online, then a VPN will allow you to do that anonymously.
Excuse me, Will, 2 questions. On using a VPN, does that per device, or, you know, because like I have like 5 devices or 6 devices connected in our home you know, for our business and such?
That would be per device. So you would want that software on each device.
And using a VPN, for example, I'm a remote online notary.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be acceptable usage when I'm conducting remote online notarizations?
That would have to be cleared with the provider that you're working with. And you know, one of the, I guess, downsides of using a VPN is that you will notice that your download speeds will be reduced. So that may be just a no-no for you to be able to use that as a RON provider. Your speed may drop too low for you to be a useful RON provider, and that's something that you only know if you test.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, hello, Will. This is Richard Law again.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed yesterday that talking about encryption up at Zero Hedge, which is a very popular blog, they said up there that the FBI can now decrypt Signal. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I did hear that, but I'm not sure that's possible because Signal is using a different, or is using a proprietary encryption format instead of using something else called open source like AES 256-bit encryption. So it's not clear whether it's the algorithm that's being used by Signal or the authorities have found some way to decrypt AES 256-bit, because if they have anything that's assigned as top secret, the government uses AES 256-bit. So if it's good enough for the government, it's got to be good enough for us.
That's a good analysis. I haven't heard that one before, but yeah, encryption, there are going to be a lot of safeguards with encryptions, but you also have to be very careful with that if you think your data is being protected. I know that because I was talking to Phyllis, and I was in the Navy, served in the Navy. And my job there was Signal's intelligence collection, listening in on the enemy. And I actually trained at the National Security Agency in Fort Meade.
Okay.
And the things we can do with intelligence are pretty outstanding. I can't, of course, divulge anything, but sometimes things would be encrypted and maybe on a communications channel, and you could tell just by the amount of traffic on that channel whether a country was launching nuclear weapons or not.
Well, I would put anything about past the U.S. government. They have unlimited funds. They're able to store data for many years. So even though they may not be able to decrypt your data now, that doesn't mean they won't be able to in the future. Because it's my understanding they're building a large facility in Utah that's just warehousing encrypted data for the day that they will be able to decrypt it.
That's very true. Very true.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, we're coming up to our 12 o'clock hour. So, Will, did you have any last minutes of anything to share with us before we close out?
I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be here today. I hope I'm invited back. I had a good time. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day today and the upcoming week.
Most
Yeah, you
definitely.
definitely will be invited back, because I can tell we only touched the surface of what's going on with Will. Also, I want to say real quick that we have Mr. Richard Law on. He is from the Society of Field Inspectors, and he is going to be our speaker for our next monthly training. So you
Great.
guys definitely want to make sure that you tune in for that, because as he said before, he's here with us today, and he's a retired Navy vet, and he just I know that a lot of notaries are interested in field inspections also.
Yeah.
So we will have you back. What a wonderful presentation. Lots of good information. I encourage you guys to get that spreadsheet. You're not going to find a better price on a spreadsheet to organize your finances. I mean, that is just wow. And join his Facebook group, Exceptional. What is it, Will? Say the name again, please.
Exceptional Notary. And my email address is will@exceptionalnotary.com. And
Okay.
hopefully, Michelle, hopefully next time my lighting will be better.
Oh. Well, you're not totally in the dark, so it did help some.
Yeah, that's on my to-do list.
But yeah, you need to start working on the next tips. You gave us 1 through 5, so please go ahead and start identifying some other exceptional tools and tips that we need in order to remain successful and run successful businesses.
Will do. Looking forward to it.
Okay, everybody, have a happy Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, if you're on Clubhouse, tomorrow we're doing the Notary Lounge at 3 o'clock. So you want to be there.
I sent my message to Michelle already.
Thank you, Will.
I've got you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Will.
Thank you,
You're
Will.
welcome.